can go ahead. Now, imagine a world without communication. Just imagine what our lives and what our experiences would be had there been no communication. Aditi is sitting here. She has a brilliant idea in her mind, but Aditi doesn't have the means of communication. Neither body language, nor gestures, nothing. She cannot communicate. She has a brilliant idea, but she cannot communicate it. Kanisma has a strong desire to sing now, but she doesn't have the means to communicate that desire. How tragic would that be? And how empty and dull and blank the whole world and all our lives would be had it not been for communication. Such is the power of communication. Now, I am taking you to some very basic questions, things that all of us know, but why I am taking you is to tell you something else. Do only human beings communicate? No. We all know that animals communicate, plants communicate, birds communicate. When you look at a plant, for example, when the leaves of the plant are withering, when the flowers are drying, it is silently telling the gardener that it is time that you take care of me and give me some water and add some manure. So there is a communication happening. When you see animals doing certain things, you know that they are communicating. It needn't always be that they communicate to us, they communicate among themselves as well, through gestures, through body movements, different ways. Monkeys, for example, they carry their babies in their hands wherever they go. A way of telling the child that the mother, you are safe, my dear baby monkey, you are safe with me. And I am here, I am your mother, I am your father, and I am here to take good care of you. Communicating that care. Now, animals don't usually communicate except in danger or when they are in need of mating. So we know the mating season of animals when animals, for example, the peacock does it beautifully, the dance to attract its partner, or communication through gestures playing an important role in bringing animals close when there is a danger, or telling the others, warning the others that there is a danger lurking around, we have to fly, we have to flee. So these kind of communication happens in the case of animals as well. When you see the patterns made by certain species of birds when they fly across the horizon, you see a V-like pattern. Definitely there must be a mode of communication that the birds must be using, because without cooperating and communicating they cannot make such a fleet, such a well organized pattern. And we all have learned that probably the nearest to human being when it comes to intelligence and communication, we have the chimpanzees. We may have we may have evolved from monkeys, and the chimpanzees and the ape is probably the closest when it comes to intelligence. When you look at chimpanzees, we can even see that they communicate among themselves and to other animals as well in very systematic ways. They can, for example, if they want to climb on a tree and get a coconut, they can communicate among themselves that we have to work as a team. You have to climb on top of me and you have to do this. And if a mollusk, for example, if it has to break a coconut, it will communicate to another animal belonging to the same species, and they will cooperate to do this. So overall we can see that animals also communicate, and that takes me to one of the central points of discussion in this lecture, namely the Disney cartoon movie The Lion King. I'm sure that we all have heard about The Lion King at least, and the movie was released in 1994, and sequels as well as adaptations, different versions of the movie has emerged. Adaptations have emerged over the years. The latest one being the 2019 version, where we had a wonderful, it is your perspective whether it was wonderful or not. Some people had very bad opinion about it as well, but still we know the story, we know the characters, I guess. But in case somebody doesn't know the story, somebody doesn't know the characters, I will just brief you about the story and the characters. The whole of the story, The Lion King, revolves around the evolution of Simba. The word Simba simply means lion in Swahili language, the African language. So the evolution of Simba from a baby cub to a well respected, proud king of the pride of lions as well as the forest. So this evolution is being traced in the movie The Lion King. And the story is something like this. Sorry for telling you the story. Spoiler warning I'm giving. The story is something like this. What happens? Mufasa, the father of Simba, is the king when the movie opens. Mufasa, the king, and the newborn baby Simba is presented to the animals, and the animals are happy that they have the prince, the crown prince, waiting. And as we go ahead, we find different characters. We find that there is a villainous character, the uncle to Simba, the brother of Mufasa. His name is Scar, and he is a grudging uncle. He wants to be at the throne of the kingdom, but because Mufasa is all powerful, and because Mufasa has the mandate of the entire animal community, Mufasa is the king and Scar is a grudging uncle. And Scar, right through the movie, is trying to dethrone, usurp Mufasa and become the king of the kingdom. And his first attempt is to kill Simba too, not just Mufasa but also Simba, because the prince is also dangerous, so he wants to kill Simba as well. And he plots things in such a way that Mufasa is killed in a stampede, and Simba believes that it was his carelessness or his ignorance, his disobedience that has led to the death of his father. And Scar convinces, quite cunningly, Scar convinces Simba that he is a blot, he is a bad thing, a bad lion, a bad cub, and if he comes back to the pack of lions, he will, to the pride of lions, he will be killed, he will be chastised for leading to the death of his father, who, it is regicide, not just patricide, it is also regicide, because his father is the king. And Scar convinces Simba, the baby lion, to run away, never come back. He tells Simba in very unequivocal terms, Simba, go away and never come back. Simba runs away, and Scar becomes the king. As we see what happens, Simba runs away, he goes to the desert, and he gets a couple of very interesting friends in Timon and Pumbaa, two very lovely creatures, two lovely characters that we all love, and they have a lot of fun together, and they convince Simba that it is Hakuna Matata, Don't worry about anything. Don't worry. Nothing matters. Nothing matters. No worries for the rest of your life. Hakuna Matata, the Swahili phrase. This becomes the watchword for Simba. He forgets everything about what happened in his childhood. He lives happily with these animals, with these funny little creatures, and life goes on. But his girlfriend, his childhood girlfriend, what was her name? She is there, and she comes in search, or maybe not in search,
Nala.
accidentally.
Her name was Nala.
Nola comes, and Nola comes accidentally. They meet, and Nola is sad to see the future hope of the kingdom in such a nonchalant, disinterested state of mind where he doesn't care for whatever is happening in his kingdom. What is happening in the kingdom? Scar has become the king with the help of a pack of hyenas, and he is dishing out very unequal laws to the animals. He is killing for fun, and a lot of ruin and nuisance in the kingdom, lot of chaos in the kingdom. And Nola convinces Simba that he has to return, but Simba isn't convinced. Simba says he doesn't want to come back because he has certain problems. He cannot come back. He's not interested. He tells himself, Hakuna Matata. Nothing matters. I don't care. No worries for the rest of my life. And then we see the monkey creature, the monkey character Rafiki coming into the picture and convincing Simba that you are Mufasa. Mufasa lives in you. In a very funny, very simple scene, we can all imagine what happens. Rafiki takes him to the pond where where Simba sees the reflection of his own self, and now that he has grown up into a big lion, he sees Mufasa, the reflection of Mufasa in the pond. He now realizes that Mufasa lives in himself. His father lives in himself, and the ghost of, or maybe the spirit of Mufasa visits him at night and tells him that he must take his rightful place as the king. And realizing that he cannot escape from his past, Simba sheds his Hakuna Matata philosophy, and he returns to kill Scar and regain his rightful place as the king of the kingdom. This is the sum and substance of the story. Now, first thing I want you to look at is, of course, the philosophy Hakuna Matata and the transformation that Simba undergoes, or the transformation that comes about Simba from Hakuna Matata. When we hear this Hakuna Matata and the easy philosophy of life that his friends Pumbaa and Timon are preaching, we feel that it is a very wonderful philosophy. And Hakuna Matata, people even human beings even adapt and adopt this philosophy as a way of life. Hakuna Matata, what a wonderful phrase. Ain't no passing craze. It means no worries for the rest of your days. It's our problem. Yeah, it's a song, Aditi, exactly. It's a lovely song. It's our problem-free philosophy, Hakuna Matata. This is the philosophy. And from this philosophy, Hakuna Matata, there is a transformation that comes about Simba when he realizes that his father lives in him, or he comes to the realization that he is the rightful king, and that he has to replace the usurper and take his place, his rightful place as the king. Think about this transformation. I am telling you this story with a very clear purpose, because I want you to keep this story at the back of your mind whenever we are discussing communication today, as well as through the rest of this 5-day lectures. Because why I say that is because we have to constantly juxtapose what is happening in the animal world and in the human world, and also, is the Lion King the animal world? Is it an honest representation of the animal world? Perhaps it is a reality, but it is a hyper reality, because the way animals are projected in the movie, they are projected as animals only, portrayed as animals only, but they are endowed with certain skills, especially language, communication, which the way that they have it, we don't see among animals. Now, I want you to think about these things. I will take you through a thought journey. Come with me for a thought journey. The Lion King has certain important lessons in life. Hakuna Matata could be the lesson that you want to take from this movie. Then, another very important thought that the movie presents is that Mufasa, the name Mufasa means the king. It simply means the king in Swahili language. So Mufasa is more than just a king. He is like a god to the bright lands. And here I want to tell you about something that happened to human beings as well. Human beings, Homo sapiens we call them, have now turned to something called Homo Deus. Not sapiens, but Deus, God. Man playing God. Think about the present state of humankind, and man believes, we have learned that man believed himself to be the crown of creation. Anyway, we have that pride that we exist, and we are the most successful species or the most powerful species all over the world, or that ever existed. We have that secret pride within all of us. Now, think of this. Mufasa is not just a king, he is like a god to the bright lands. And in one of the very moving discussions that ensue between Simba, the baby Simba. See, this is the baby Simba for you, baby Simba. This is the baby Simba, and this is our Mufasa. And Mufasa and Simba was playing, and Simba asked Mufasa, daddy, tell me what, why, what are those stars? All these things, Mufasa, Simba
this
asked.
session just got way more adorable, Manuji. Thank you.
Yeah, this is our Simba. Now, look at Simba,
You brought it up. Going on.
and Mufasa tells Simba, beta, my dear boy, my right to the crown of this kingdom comes from my divine placement at the top of the food chain. Okay, so he is aware of the food chain, and the movie explains, the story explains this as the circle of life. The circle of life, my dear son, there is something called circle of life. It is not about conquering, it is not about defeating, it is about respecting the law of life, respecting the circle of life. And it is not about showing power, but it is about giving care. These kind of lessons Mufasa imparts to our baby Simba, and Simba is very happy. He doesn't understand everything, but this is not a cub, Ash. This is Mufasa, father. It's a proud big lion, the king. Don't call him a cub. You are finished, Ash. So the circle of life. Now, this circle of life they have studied, and Simba studied. He didn't understand, but he still studied. And another thing that we observe in the movie, it cannot be stolen because it is from the animal kingdom. Ethics. Another thing from the movie is ethics. We see things like hunting, killing, and Mufasa has created a rule that you should not kill for fun. You should kill only what you require for eating. We have learned that animals do like that only. Animals don't kill for fun. Animals don't have cruelty, jealousy, nothing. But this is the law this Mufasa has given to his pupil, given to his citizens or animal sons. And killing, protecting, law and order. There is a law and order. There is peace. And there is camaraderie between animals. There is a kind of love and camaraderie between animals in such a way that they kill only when they have to eat. Only when it comes to the circle of life, they kill. Otherwise, they live in mutual harmony. And when you look again at the movie The Lion King, you can look at the meaning of words. Every word used in the movie is right with meaning. Mufasa means the king. Simba means lion, all in Swahili language. Pumbaa means a foolish, fickle-minded, careless, negligent person. Though we love him very much, he is careless. Timon, probably not from Swahili, but we know the Greek word Timon means one who respects, one who is obedient. And so we have the literal meanings of words, and then we have some suggested meanings as well. I would say some religious meanings and some mythical meanings in the story. I will just take one example for your understanding to realize how many layers of meaning can be seen or found in even a story, a children's story. For example, there is a biblical allusion. I'm just taking one religion, Christianity, and there is a clear biblical allusion to Christ, the Father. We have the Father, the Christ is the Son, and there is also this possibility that you can look at the similarity between Simba and Moses, who had to run away, he had to go in exile. He was a prince, he lived like a prince, and then after a murder, he had to escape to some other land, and then he comes back. Lot of similarities you can observe. When you compare Simba with Moses, some people say Simba is Christ, but sometimes you feel that Simba is not Christ, Mufasa is Christ, because Mufasa sacrifices his life when he is trying to save his son. While trying to save his son, he was killed in that stampede, of course by his own brother Scar. Dying to save, notions of sacrifice. The whole of Christian faith is on the belief that Christ lives. There was a resurrection, and when we see Simba looking into his own reflection in the pond, we see the resurrection of Mufasa symbolically happening. So we can look at symbolic, allegorical, religious, mythical references, suggestions, suggested meanings in the movie. And I would also take you to some other meaning that is there, fictional meaning. Now, this is central to our discussion today. If you look at the movie closely, you can find that the story of the Lion King resembles Shakespeare's Hamlet. Hamlet returns, and what happens? His father is killed by his uncle, his own uncle. And we see a lot of similarity between what happens in Hamlet and what happens in the Lion King. You can find similarities between Lion King and Oedipus Rex. Oedipus, the son who killed his own father, patricide, regicide, all these things. There is a striking similarity between the characterizations of Oedipus and Simba. And then, but Oedipus is a tragedy, Simba's story isn't a tragedy. And then we can draw comparisons. Hamlet is a tragedy too. I'm not speaking, I'm speaking just about similarities in plot. Similarities in plot, not the conclusion or anything. And you can even draw comparisons with George Orwell's Animal Farm. George Orwell's Animal Farm. Now, I leave this discussion of Simba and Mufasa here. I'm leaving it here for you to keep in mind throughout this discussion. Simba will not come back to you in this lecture, but keep this Simba and Mufasa and what happened to Simba, the transformation, the layers of meaning in the movie. Keep all these things in mind as we move to the, I think there is no doubt, because there is nothing to doubt, right? You agree with almost everything that, because I didn't make any big statements, I hope. So no doubts. Now we are moving to something else. How has man become the crown of creation and maybe inarguably the most powerful and definitely the most successful species in the world? How? My question is how? Why I am posing this question, you have to understand the history. Let's say 65,000 to 75,000 years ago. 65,000 to 75,000 years ago, we had our ancestors, our early ancestors. And now I am speaking about anthropology and history, not about Adam and Eve, not about Simba, just human history or anthropology. And our ancestors were insignificant animals. Now you have to note the word insignificant. Not at all significant. They had nothing to be proud of. They had nothing extraordinary about them. They were insignificant animals. Insignificant animals. They were unimportant. This is the important thing we have to remember. Our ancestors 65,000 to 75,000 years ago were unimportant and, let's say, I'm using a bad word, useless like all the other animals, within double quotes, useless like all the other animals in the world, like any other animal, our ancestors. But and the impact of their existence on this earth was similar to the existence of a worm or a centipede or a lion or an elephant, anything. You can say anything. Their impact, now we know that whatever decisions we take, whatever decisions we make, have global implications on the existence of other species as well, on the existence on the very existence of life on this planet. But that many years ago, the human species was completely unimportant. They didn't have any more impact than a centipede or a worm. Same impact as any other creature on the earth. Today, in contrast, we see that we control and dominate the planet. No question about it. Now, the question that we have to ask is, how did we evolve from that insignificant person in some corner of the African continent, eating some banana and just whiling away his time? How did we evolve from that useless fellow to this so-called useful and highly developed, sophisticated, intelligent we? How did we turn ourselves into the present you and I? Survival of the fittest. Yes, survival of the fittest. Now I am taking you in some other direction.
And dangerous as well.
Dangerous as well, not a doubt. The most dangerous species on the planet, the most dangerous species the world has ever witnessed. Origin of species, yes, all fine. Usually, when we are looking for answers to this question, how we have evolved, we will look at similarities and differences between human beings and other animals. One species in juxtaposition with other species. And we look at the difference between us as human beings, our evolution, and the evolution of other animals on an individual level. First, let me take you to the individual level. And let us be honest about it. If I think about myself, I think that there is something special about me. You know, that speciality, you cannot call it a pride or anything. Maybe I am proud, but I'm not speaking about that sort of egocentrism or anything. I'm just saying about the basic feeling that I have something extra. I'm not like, that butterfly. I'm not like that plant. I have something special. I am something special. There is something extra to me about my body, about my construction, about my structure, or maybe about my brain at least, or at least, even the humblest person would say that I have a mind. And if you are religious, you will say I have a soul. We have these concepts that we believe make us superior to a pig or a butterfly or any other animal, or even a chimpanzee, our nearest neighbor. And we know how insignificant a chimpanzee is. I'm just boasting us up into, blowing ourselves up into something that we think that we are. We really think like that. Let us be honest about it. We think that we are somebody special, not in a selfish or egocentric way, but in something that is there, inborn, or the Creator has given us, or nature has given us some special privilege. But the fact is, when you look at me as an individual, I am very much similar to a butterfly. I am very much similar to a dog. I am very much similar to a chimpanzee. Suppose we did an exercise, right, where you are trapped in an uninhabited island. Suppose you got trapped in that uninhabited island alone. You alone were trapped in that island. And suppose that a chimpanzee was also trapped in that island. So there are only two living creatures in that island. There is a chimpanzee and there is you. Now tell me, who will survive better, you or the chimpanzee? If it is me, I am sure that the chimpanzee will do far better than me. I don't know about you, but think whether you will fare any better than the chimpanzee if you are all alone. And forget about all the human beings wherever, or forget about questions of escaping. Think about the basic need called survival. Would you fare any better than the chimpanzee? Without a mobile, without the internet, without the computer, without all the tools and things that we are aware of, reminds of Robinson Crusoe. Would we be able to do a Robinson Crusoe? That is my question. Would we fare better? I think that because I have decided, or I have learned to live with this mobile phone, even without this mobile phone, I will have very much great difficulty in surviving, let alone in an uninhabited island without any network connection. Without this mobile, I cannot survive. Then how will I survive on an uninhabited island? If I am to place a bet, my bet would be on the chimpanzee to survive longer than the human being. If the human being happens to be me, ask about yourself whether you will do better than the chimpanzee. And this is on an individual level. Now this is what I want to tell you. The real difference between humans and other species is not on the individual level, it is on the collective level. The real difference that makes us superior to all the other species is not on the individual level. Though I think that I am special, yes, I am special thanks to my community, thanks to my ability to exist in a community and work as a community. That is why it is on the collective level that I am better, or I fare better than any other animals. So I am coming to three major points as to why man has become the crown of creation and why man is the most powerful, the most dangerous, and the most intelligent of all the species in the world. This is my thesis, this is my proposition, this is my argument. I will give you three reasons, three concrete reasons, and I will explain them one by one, and that's the end of today's lecture. Now, the first point I want to give you is mankind is what it is today thanks to technology. Thanks to technology, because what has happened to human beings is that through technology we have successfully externalized our evolution. Our human evolution no longer happens inside to the body, inside the body. Our evolution happens extrinsic to our bodies. I will explain. Technology has helped us evolve, communicate, and preserve knowledge in an agreeable way. In other words, we have this unique skill to think in language, using which we can create and sustain and preserve and give to our future generations technology or the fruits of technology. Ask me a doubt if you have one. I am telling you, our evolution is happening external to our bodies. To every other species, evolution is happening on their body, within their body. For example, an animal developing an eye behind the head. Suppose an eye behind the head. If it helps the survival of the species, and if it doesn't affect the chain of being, the chain of living, the circle of living, then nature will allow that species to have that third eye behind the head. Nature is an experimenter. Nature experiments with every species over thousands of years, millions of years. And if a species, for example, before man got this wonderful tool called technology, our evolution was happening in our bodies. Definitely, first we walked on 4 legs. Then evolution, somebody started walking on 2 legs. And what happened? That person who walked on 2 legs definitely had some advantages over his contemporaries who were walking on 4 legs. That is how, because of that theory called survival of the fittest, the person who started walking erect, Homo erectus, that fellow started to reign supreme, and every other species, other specimen of human beings that were walking on 4 legs slowly started getting eliminated. Likewise, think about our eyes, 2 eyes. Probably there were some human beings with 1 eye, there were some human beings with 3 eyes, but through this natural process of evolution, selection, trial and error method, what happened? Nature decided that 2 eyes is best for human beings, and that this is best for us. We evolved from apes, but apes are still around. Good question. Why are they still around? Why shouldn't they be still around? Because We don't have a conflict. There is no direct conflict between our species and the species of apes. For example, if we are a species that devour or that eats apes, then there is a chance that apes can get extinct. But there is no danger of extinction for apes, because though we evolved from the apes, let us assume we evolved from apes or chimpanzees or monkeys, whatever it is, let give it any name. We evolved from them, but we evolved not as a better version of that species, but as a different species. This is the significant thing you have to remember. I am answering that question. So the difference is apes, one species, human being, another species, not as a continuation or a better version of that species. We evolved into another species, and that is why apes coexist with us. But our forefathers, the people who had problems with long neck or not proper placement of tooth, all these problems, they are no longer there. Why? What happened? They became extinct, and their DNA, over the years, their DNA got lost, and no version is preserved. But there are certain versions that are preserved today. Let's say, for example, around 10,000 years ago, man could not digest milk, but now man can digest milk, animal milk, human milk, anything. If I drink human milk, I will not die. If I drink the milk of an animal, I will not die. But 10,000 years ago, any man who drinks milk would die, because human body could not digest milk. And it was much later, through the evolutionary process, that man started even digesting the mother's milk. Now you would ask, what was the child feeding on? When the child was born, did it used to eat this noodles? No, it used to drink mother's milk up to the age of 5. Up to the age of 5. Once you cross the age of 5, man lost the ability to digest milk. And even today, we have certain people, that lineage is not yet over. I am just giving an example. There are some people who cannot digest milk. Let's think about acidity, for example. Difficulty to digest, acidity, burning sensation, acid reflux. There are many people who have difficulty digesting milk, and for at least 30% of them, the difficulty to digest milk comes not because of the difficulty in digesting milk as such, but because of something called what are the contents? Lactose intolerance. Lactic acid. Lactose intolerance. So human beings were completely intolerant towards lactose once upon a time, but now many human beings can easily digest, no problems with intolerance, nothing like that. But there are a few people, like me for example. I am a person who cannot digest milk at all, but it doesn't mean that I will die. I may vomit, I may have loose motion, but I will not die. But I cannot do that. And what might happen is, I am having an evolutionary disadvantage over my peers. Let us call it like that. Why? Because I cannot digest milk. For example, if I am in a community that drinks a lot of milk, they will of course have an advantage over me, because they will have better availability of milk. I cannot drink that milk. So just think, for example, I go to a camp, and there every day your breakfast consists of milk products only. I will not have breakfast. Naturally, my survival will be threatened. So this is a simple example I am giving. What I am telling you is, human evolution, evolution happens like this over millenniums of years, but human evolution, when it comes to human evolution, something strange happened. Human evolution happened outside the human body. Not about having 3 eyes, not about having 3 ears or 1 ear, not about having 2 noses, nothing like that. Our evolution, for example, we had a problem. We could not run fast as a cheetah, for example. So what did we do? We didn't develop any muscles or additional things to speed up our running. What did we do? We invented some vehicles that can run faster than cheetahs. Finished. We could not fly. We cannot fly now either, but we can fly faster than the fastest. We are inventing machines, aeroplanes, jets that can move closer to the speed of light even. Just imagine. Ability to fly, ability to live underwater, ability to survive in the most difficult of circumstances, in ice, in extreme hot climate. Why? Because our evolution happened outside our bodies through technology. Right? Hope it is clear. This is my first point. So what has happened? We developed a technology outside our bodies for evolving, communicating and preserving knowledge in an agreeable way, in a community wise agreeable way. We developed this skill to think in language and use that language to create and preserve and give to future generations technology, so that our evolution gets preserved. We hand it over very easily, very quickly. For example, the mobile revolution. It didn't take thousands of years for the mobiles to become universal. In 10 or 15 years, it became a universal phenomenon. So it doesn't require 10,000 years. But for an animal, it will take 10,000 years for an evolution to become universal. That is one of our absolutely distinct advantage, and for that we have to thank technology. And where does this technology come from? From our use of language, through which we are able to think and communicate in an effective way and communicate in a social way. This is the first idea, the idea called technology. My first point. If you have any doubt, ask. Otherwise, we are moving to the next point. Okay. The second reason why man is the crown of creation, why man has so much advantage over other species, is that man can cooperate flexibly with other human beings. We have the ability to cooperate with others flexibly. Now, what is this idea? I will explain. Look at animals, like say for instance ants. We see ants moving in a straight line, carrying goods, like a goods train they are moving, carrying food or whatever, and they are, there is a lot of cooperation happening. So definitely cooperation is not something that only human beings can do. It is something that animals can do as well, even insects. The bees, for example, the beehive is a wonderful example of how you can cooperate. There is a queen and everything. So the ants, the bees, the insects, they all cooperate in large numbers. But there is a difference between the kind of cooperation that they do and the kind of cooperation that we can do. What is the difference? Their cooperation is extremely rigid. There is basically a single way in which a group of ants, an ant hill can function. There is only a single way in which a beehive can function. For example, suppose we have a group of ants, and suppose one ant decides that, okay, I want to keep all this food for myself, so I will keep these food items separate. No, it cannot do that. He cannot, one ant cannot tell some other ants, see, we have only this much food. If all of us together eat it, what will happen? We will have only very little. So let us better do this. Let us, we 5 or 6 of us, let us take this food and don't tell the other ants that there is this food. Ants cannot do that. Ants cannot do that. They are rigid. There it is, let us say, it is hardwired into their genes. Whatever they do is genetical, or let us say it is hormone or whatever, it is, I would use the word instinctive. There is nothing outside instinct when it comes to cooperation in the animal species. There is just one way in which a beehive will operate. For example, in a beehive we have the queen. So another bee decides that I want to be the queen. So I will usurp this queen and I will be the new queen of this beehive. Is it possible? No. It is not possible, because it is not like that. They are not like that. It is not that they are very innocent or they give respect to the queen. Nothing like that. It is hardwired. It is instinctive to them. And suppose there is a danger. Suppose there is a danger. I see a group of ants moving in a particular direction, and I use Lakshman Rekha, the magic chalk, to kill the ants. Now what will I do? Across the setu that the ants are building, I will draw a line. I will draw a Lakshman Rekha across their setu. Now what will happen is, if this is a danger, the first ant that smells this, that comes to this Lakshman Rekha poison, understands that it is going to affect me, it is dangerous to me, it is going to kill me. But the problem is that one ant cannot reinvent the system in such a way that the other ants can escape. They cannot do it beyond a certain limit. They cannot do it beyond a minimal way. In other words, what I am saying is, we are the only species that are flexible in the way we cooperate. Okay, animals also cooperate, insects also cooperate, no question, but they are not flexible. They are rigid because it is hardwired into their system. It is instinctive. This is my second point. Hope there is no doubt. If there is a doubt, please feel free to ask. This is my second point. We are the only species that can cooperate among ourselves flexibly, irrespective of what our instinct says. My instinct might say that I want to do something naughty in a public place, but I can control myself. My instinct might want me to defecate in a public place, but I won't do that, because there is something called a social sense. But animals cannot do such things. Beyond a certain limit, they cannot. Their cooperation and their behavior is hardwired, and it is very rigid. And my third and final point about why human beings have become the crown of creation is that we are the only species that can cooperate in very large numbers. Now you will ask me, what about ants? There are thousands and thousands of ants in my home. There are insects. Let me tell you, they cannot do it in large numbers in a meaningful way. I will explain, then it will become clear. What I am saying is, we are the only species that has the ability to cooperate in large numbers. Now, let us look at, for example, elephants or chimpanzees or monkeys or wolves. They can cooperate much more flexibly compared to the insects. Yes, these mammals they are social mammals. We call the wolves or the elephants as social mammals, and they can cooperate more flexibly than the insects or the ants or the bees, but they do so in small numbers, because cooperation among these animals is based on intimate knowledge of each other. In other words, an elephant will not communicate as comfortably with an elephant that it meets all on a sudden on a particular day. It cannot communicate profitably with or cooperate with an elephant that it meets for the first time. A stranger elephant is always a stranger elephant. Now, I can guess the kind of questions you may have. What about a lion who saves the deer or things like that? We may have many such questions. I am explaining this idea. I will explain it and then you can ask. What I am saying is animals cooperate among themselves only if they know each other intimately, and that too in a very small group. Suppose I am a chimpanzee and some of you know, Sneha ma'am is a chimpanzee. I am a chimpanzee and Sneha ma'am is a chimpanzee. Let's imagine. And what do I want? I want to have a coconut, or I want a banana. I want a banana, and Sneha ma'am is my fellow chimpanzee. Now I can communicate with Sneha ma'am my desire to have a banana, and if Sneha ma'am knows where banana is available, she will tell me, okay, my dear chimpanzee Manu, there is a banana plant there, you can go and have it. Or if she has it, she will give it to me also. That also can be done. But a new person, if I am a chimpanzee and a new person joins this group, let's say some John joins this group all on a sudden, if I am a chimpanzee, I cannot cooperate with John. I cannot ask John for a banana, and John will not respond to my request. If at all I make a request, I cannot make a request, but that is because that is not there in my system. In other words, what I am saying is, I will evaluate Sneha ma'am as a chimpanzee first. Is she a good chimpanzee? Is she a nice chimpanzee? These kind of questions, I need to know the answers to these kind of questions. Is she a good chimpanzee? Is she an evil chimpanzee? Can I trust Sneha ma'am as a chimpanzee? And can I eat the banana that she gives? A lot of questions are there, and if everything is fine, then only I will cooperate with Sneha ma'am. In other words, I have to know my fellow chimpanzee intimately. Now, hope that part is clear somewhat. You still have doubts, you must have doubts, not an issue. The only animal, now let me complete my point and then I will explain. The only animal that can combine these two abilities, the ability to cooperate flexibly and in large numbers, is human beings. Human beings are the only species that can cooperate flexibly and in large numbers. 1 versus 1. Chimpanzees may be better than us. If I fight with a chimpanzee, most probably the chimpanzee will overpower me. Suppose I don't have any weapons, any technology, nothing like that. I am a bare human being and I fight with a chimpanzee. Most probably the chimpanzee will overpower me. It is powerful. It is better than me. Let us say 10 human beings and 10 chimpanzees. Even then the chimpanzees will do better than 10 human beings. Definitely. They can do that. 10 lions can do better than 10 human beings. Suppose we are not armed with any technology. That is what I am saying. 10 lions can do better than 10 human beings. But if you compare 1000 human beings with 1000 lions, then human beings will win easily. This is the point. Why? 1000 lions cannot cooperate at all. 1000 elephants cannot cooperate at all. 1,000 chimpanzees cannot cooperate at all. I was watching a cricket match today, and in the cricket stadium there were around 30,000 people. Suppose you allow 30,000 lions into that stadium, what will happen? What will happen? If you allow 30,000 elephants into that stadium, if you allow 30,000 giraffes into that stadium, if you allow 30,000 monkeys into that stadium, what will happen? Complete chaos. There will be complete chaos. They will never cooperate among themselves. Complete chaos will happen. Complete madness. In contrast, human beings normally gather in tens and thousands, and we do it without creating any chaos. We can do it without creating any chaos. We can create chaos also, but we can do it without creating any chaos. In other words, what we get is extremely sophisticated and extremely efficient networks of cooperation among human beings. Hope I am clear. Human beings can cooperate in large numbers. All the achievements, think about the achievements that man has made throughout history. Man went to the moon. Man created the Taj Mahal, the wonders of the world. The Taj Mahal, was it built by Shah Jahan? We say Shah Jahan built the Taj Mahal, but was it literally built by Shah Jahan? It was built by thousands of people. There are the dead bodies of thousands of people under the Taj Mahal. There is the blood and sweat of 10,000s of people beneath the Taj Mahal. Definitely, the pyramids, whatever we have created, the Statue of Liberty or the Statue of Equality or any statues that we have created, it is the fruit of the labor of thousands of people. We are planning to go to Mars. Chandrayaan is over, and then mission Mars, and we have the movie as well. So we do it not individually, but because we can cooperate in large numbers, in very large numbers. Think about think about my lecture. I am giving a lecture now. Do I know all 16 of you who are here? Maybe, I know. But will I know everyone who is listening to this recording on YouTube? Maybe not. You may be sharing this YouTube link with some of your friends. I may not know them at all. They may not know me at all. But won't they understand? If you are able to understand, they will also most probably be able to understand what I am saying. This is impossible in animal kingdom. They cannot do that. They simply cannot do that. I can use Google Meet platform without knowing anything about, there are thousands of people who are working in technical rooms who are helping all of us to meet in a Google Meet platform. Live, many people are working in the background. Live, many people are working to give me and you internet connection. Live, many thousands of people are working so that we have electricity, right? All this cooperation is happening together. We don't know any of them, they don't know me, but we cooperate so well. The food I am eating is the fruit of the labor of so many thousands of farmers who I don't know, whom I will never meet. And still we are able to communicate. This is the essence of human communication. The essence of human communication, human cooperation, is that we can do it in large numbers. And even though we don't know each other, we can work together to make sure that there is an exchange of knowledge. I study thousands of, we study thousands of theories. We study many hundreds of theorists. Do we know them? No. Have we heard about them? We may have heard about them. For example, we are talking about William Shakespeare, or we are talking, let's say somebody who is alive. I am talking about Donald Trump. Now, does Donald Trump know me? Without him knowing me, I can talk so many things about Donald Trump. This is the essence of what I am saying. We can cooperate without knowing, and the global exchange of ideas among thousands and millions of human beings can happen without us knowing each other. This then is the biggest achievement. This then is the biggest coefficient. This then is the biggest criterion that distinguishes human beings from animals. Cooperation is not always nice. I said, I hope I have made my 3 points clear. 3 points, all 3 points. Hope I am clear with all my 3 points. My points are done. Now I am telling you something more about cooperation. Cooperation is not always nice, not always good. The worst things that we have done in history are also the fruits of cooperation. Now you might ask me that a person who takes a gun and shoots 100 people around him, it's a massacre. Now is it the fruit of cooperation? Isn't he doing it individually? No. Think about the gun he is using. How much intelligence, how many people have worked behind the creation of that gun, the bullets. Think about it. There is massive cooperation in everything that we are doing because of the first point I mentioned. Our evolution has happened external to our bodies, and we can communicate it very easily using language. Now you might ask, how is gun language? Gun is a language. Gun is a language. I will explain. I am not speaking metaphorically that gun is the language of power or anything or violence. No, that is not the language I am speaking. I am speaking about facts. Cooperation is not always good. Horrible things have been done by human beings to other human beings, to nature itself, to other species. All very horrible things we have done thanks to our ability to cooperate on a large scale. Think about the systems that we have created. Think about the wars. Think about the World War. Think about concentration camps. It is a system, and it is a massive cooperation that led to the creation of, it's not just Adolf Hitler. If there is one chimpanzee called Adolf Hitler, that chimpanzee cannot create a concentration camp. Impossible. But because we are human beings, we can do it. Think about prisons. Prisons are a system of cooperation. Slaughterhouses, system of cooperation. Chimpanzees, lions, elephants, butterflies, they don't have prisons. They don't have concentration camps. They don't wage wars. Hope this is clear. We are the masters of the universe. We are the destroyers of the universe as well, because we can do technology, one, because we can cooperate flexibly, two, and because we can cooperate flexibly in large numbers using technology, three. These are my 3 points. The next question, definitely we will have this question. How do we do it? Okay, we can cooperate flexibly in large numbers. We have technology, everything agreed. How do we do it? What enables us alone? There are other animals. Why can't they do that? What enables us alone of all the species that have lived on this earth to cooperate in such an efficient way, in such an effective way? What is the one defining factor? And I will say the answer to this question is our linguistic communicative imagination. This is what I was trying to arrive at through giving you all this story of the lion and everything. Now think about it. Our linguistic communicative imagination is the one extraordinary skill that has enabled us to do all this. Linguistic, that is done through language. Communicative imagination. Imagination. Now, you might think that I am telling a story about imagination and it is a fictional narrative. No, it is not fiction. Imagination is not fiction, and when I am telling that it is imagination that is helping us to cooperate in such a way, do trust me that it is not about poets. Imagination is not only about literature people, it is about all of humanity. We can cooperate flexibly in large numbers with strangers because we, human beings, Homo sapiens alone, of all the other species in this planet, can create and believe fiction. Do you get me? Fiction. We can create and recreate fiction. The only species that can create fiction is human being. That is why we had sessions on storytelling. That is why we had practical sessions on storytelling, not only theoretical sessions. Apilash sir gave us very beautiful ideas on how to do storytelling and what is storytelling, what is story. Now I am giving it a theoretical perspective, and I am telling you it is our ability to tell and create and communicate stories that have made us the most successful, the most dangerous, and the most intelligent species on this planet. I will explain it, and that will be the end of this lecture. What is the idea? Linguistic communicative imagination. The idea is we create fiction, and if everybody believes, every human being believes in that fiction, if everybody obeys and follows the same rules, the same norms, the same values, then we are successful. That's the simple idea. Let me explain. Other animals use their communication system, their ability to communicate, only to describe reality. Please understand, animals can only describe reality using their ability to communicate. A lion might tell, this lion might tell another lion that, okay, there is a deer hiding there, we can go and kill him. It can do that. It can do that. It can do that. Definitely do that. It can say that there is a lion, there is an elephant, and it is a single-tusked elephant. It is a dangerous one, so let us not play around with the elephant because it is dangerous. Let us escape. Let us clear the scene. This lion may tell another lion. It can do that. It will describe reality. It will speak about mountains. It will speak about rivers. It can, speak in the sense communicate. It can communicate about pain. It can communicate about pleasure. It can communicate about a giraffe. It can communicate about an elephant. It can communicate about food. It can communicate about many things. Humans, but the only thing is, animals can communicate only to describe reality, whereas human beings, in contrast, use our language not only to describe reality but also to create new realities, fictional realities. This is the point. Human beings can create realities using their language, using their ability to communicate. Human beings not only describe reality but also create and recreate new realities, fictional realities. We can create stories. I can say, my dear friends, there is a God. There is a God. Above there is a God, there is a heaven, and there is a God, and He is all powerful and all merciful, all kind, all sweet. He will reward you if you do good things. He will punish you if you do bad things. So do good things. If you do good things, God will take you to His lap. God will hug you. God will give you many beautiful mobile phones. God will give you many laptops. God will give you bicycles. God will give you Apple phones. Anything you want, God will give you. But if you don't do good things, God will send you to the fire. There is something called fire, hell, and there everybody is being fried, whether it is in coconut oil or sunflower oil. In some oil, God is frying people. There is a frying pan called hell, and you will be put on that, and they will put you up and down, and you will be fried. So, this is a story that I am telling you. Now, please don't confuse it with religions. I'm not saying anything about religion or religious beliefs. I'm just trying to explain a point about creating a reality, a new reality. Now, I have created a reality called God here, with using my ability to imagine. That why I am saying these things, because I know that you love to be in pleasure and you hate to be in pain. So if there is punishment, definitely you will not do that. That is my idea. And if you get rewards, you tend to do it again. So that is why I am telling you these things. And if you all believe, maybe some of you may not believe, but suppose you all believe my story, then what will happen? You will follow the same norms and laws and values. Now I am saying this God has told me that you all should give your mobile phones to me, and then God will send you to heaven. Okay, suppose you believe this, what will all of you do? You will all give me your mobile phones, because God will send you to heaven. You want to go to heaven, you don't want to be fried, So I'm not an atheist. This is not about atheism or theism, nothing at all, nothing to do with atheism. So the problem is, now you will do that. Suppose I am saying, I will give you something, you will give me your mobile. I will say that you give me this, I will give you that, but this is not the idea. I have told you about a God who gives you these things. Now, think about a chimpanzee. You can never convince a chimpanzee to give you a banana by promising the chimpanzee that, my dear chimpanzee bro, after you die, see, you will go to chimpanzee heaven or chimpanzee hell, and they will fry you. If you don't give me the banana that is in your hand, God will fry you. Chimpanzee will say, you go to hell. I am not going to give you my banana, because I can only understand reality. I cannot understand fiction. I cannot understand invented realities that as you bloody human beings can do. So I will not do that. I will not give you my banana even if there is a heaven or a hell. I don't know. I am not least worried about that, but I will have my banana. This is the idea. And you might say that, okay, don't worry chimpanzee bro, you give me your banana, and if you give me your banana, what will happen, you know, after you die, God will give you thousands of bananas every day, and you can choose the best of bananas every day. Oh, really? Oh, but then would the chimpanzee be tempted? No. Chimpanzee wouldn't be tempted, because it doesn't believe in invented realities. It doesn't believe in fiction. It will never ever give you the banana for this reason. It might give you for many other reasons, but for this invented reality, it is not going to give you its banana. Only humans believe such stories, which is why we control the world. Whereas the chimpanzees, what happens to the chimpanzees? Because, now the point is, because we believe in these things, because we have a fictional reality, we are the rulers of the world. We are the, masters of the universe. Whereas poor chimpanzee, it is being trapped in zoos and in laboratories, and people are doing nasty things to the chimpanzees. You know what happened with the chimpanzees in Africa, for example. So many nasty things man is doing to the chimpanzees, because man can create invented realities called fiction, whereas animals or chimpanzees or any animal cannot. Now you might think that this works only in the field of religion, because it was like religion, I was telling, God and other things. Billions of people can work together to build a cathedral or a mosque. We can fight in a crusade, we can fight in a jihad, because they believe in the same stories. I'm not ridiculing anything, that is not the idea. I'm saying something that is not really out there, that is tangible. We can understand and believe such things while animals cannot. God, heaven, hell, these things animals cannot. But is it only about religion? No. This is there in every sphere of human activity. Let us take, for example, ethics. Ethics is not religion. Ethics is not religion. Now I should not kill. I should not kill a fellow human being. Ethics. Or I should be honest. Now tell me, where is honesty? If you cut open me and check every part of me, can you find honesty in me? No. And can you show me honesty anywhere out there? No. Take, for example, the legal field. Let us think, for example, about the legal system, about human rights. We speak a lot about human rights, subalterns. We are worried about rights. What are human rights? Human rights, just like God and heaven in the story that I created just a while back, is a story that we have invented. Human rights is a story. Now, if you tell this to human rights activists, they will kill you. But what I am telling, this is a different picture. What I am presenting is a different idea. There is no objective reality called human rights. There is nothing biological called human rights. If you open me everywhere, you can find my kidney and liver and bones and whatever, but you will not find any right residing inside me. There is no human right inside me. The only place you can find human rights are in the stories that we created. And I am not speaking about Panchatantra stories or Aesop's fables. I am speaking about stories called legal system or ethics or religion or politics or economics or commerce. These are all fiction, and I am not speaking against anything. Please understand, this is the idea that I am trying to present. Let us take another example. So these are all stories. This may be very good stories, but still they are fiction, in the sense it is not tangible reality that we are describing. That way only I am saying it is fiction. Let us look at politics or the political field. Now we speak about patriotism. Can we find patriotism? Now you will agree that you will think that, okay, so he is saying that you cannot touch honesty, but there is something called honesty. No. Now I will explain it in the case of a nation or politics. Politics is based on the concept of nation states. But what are states? What are nations? There is no objective reality called nation. Is there India? Is there an India? No. Is there a United States? No. Is there a Canada? No. There isn't. A mountain is an objective reality. A river is an objective reality that our animals can also find out and describe, and we also can do. But India is not a reality. Pakistan is not a reality. But we are always worried about Pakistan, and we are always caring for India. Now it is a fiction. It is a fiction. You can, think about the river, think about the mountain, think about the banana or chimpanzee's banana. You can touch it, you can smell it, you can taste it. It is tangible. It can be understood with your senses. Whereas these things called states, you cannot touch, you cannot see, nothing is there. This is a story that we have invented, and this is a story, India is a story that we are attached to, and we call that attachment to a character in a story patriotism. Right? People die for nations, right? People, soldiers, people die for patriotism, their patriotic spirit. Now
but it's objectified, right? It's defined by geographical boundaries. I mean,
but is it India? Is it defined by geographical boundaries? Can you show me India? Can you touch India? India is a concept. Shashi Tharoor famously said that India is the idea of an ever land. Idea of an ever land. It is a pluralistic ever land. It is a concept, right? Can you tell me what India is? Is it the geographical boundaries? Is it the
then why are we having so many border conflicts all the time?
That is what I am asking. That is what I am trying to put into your head. Why are we considering Pakistanis our enemies?
Border conflicts have got to do with ego and power, and that is a human quality. That is what he's trying to tell us.
Exactly, exactly. And so they are not an objective reality. States are not, nations are not objective realities. Take for example economics. You know, nowadays, when you think about the global economy, we are speaking about multinational corporations, Coca-Cola, or Apple, or Microsoft. Some people may work there, some people may, McDonald's, chicken. We all love certain things, right? We all love some of these brands. But what are these things? They are fictions. They also don't exist. Now you will say that McDonald's exists and I go there, chicken exists and I eat from there. So don't say that it doesn't exist, but I am saying it is a fiction. Why is it a fiction? This is a story invented and maintained by the powerful people, by those in power. All these multinational corporations are fiction. Now, it doesn't mean that there is no multinational corporation, there is no Microsoft. That is not what I am saying. But it is a fiction. An animal cannot understand it. An animal can never understand the internet. I will give you a simpler example. What do these corporations do? Then you will understand why it is a fiction. What is their purpose? To make profit, to make money. Now, what is money? Tell me, what is money? Money is not an objective reality. Everything we do is for money, right? We live for making money. Our lives are controlled by money. But what is money? 100 rupees note. I have 100 rupees note. What is it? It is nothing. It has no value. Yes, it has a value, we know it, but it has no value. That piece of paper has no value. You cannot eat it, you cannot drink it, you cannot wear it. But then why is it valuable for us? Because there is a fictional meaning that everybody agrees to about this 100 rupee note, right? There is a fictional meaning given to this 100 rupees note, which is why we believe in the 100 rupees note. And the idea is there are master storytellers called economists and Reserve Bank governors and prime ministers and presidents and constitution creators, all these people. I'm not blaming, see, please understand that when I say somebody is a storyteller, it doesn't mean that I'm blaming them. I'm telling about us, what we are doing. Please understand. So the bankers, the finance ministers, they tell us a convincing story. They tell us that this thing with the Reserve Bank governor's signature, this is worth 100 rupees, means you can get 25 or you can get 12 bananas for this paper. That is the meaning, right? You can get 12 bananas, you can get 10 coconuts if you give this piece of paper to the shopkeeper. You can get 10 coconuts, you can get 12 bananas. This is the fiction that we all believe in it. And if I only believe in it, then what will happen? I give it to the shopkeeper. I have a new piece of paper. So it's a piece of paper. No, this is a longer piece of paper. Okay. Now give me 10 bananas. I will give you this longer piece of paper. Will the shopkeeper give me bananas? He will give me something else, and he will call the police, or he may call the people from the mental asylum. What is the problem? There is no meaning. So everyone agrees to it. And suppose I take this worthless piece of paper called 100 rupee note to a supermarket where I don't know anyone. The girl standing there doesn't know me. The person sitting at the cash counter doesn't know me. But he will, if I give this 100 rupee note, he will give me 10 bananas. He will give me, because there is a system. And I cannot eat 100 rupee note, but I can eat the banana. This is something very interesting. But you cannot do it with animals. You cannot do it with, exactly, PK, Amir Khan. Yeah, you cannot do it with chimpanzees. Yes, chimpanzees trade. You give me one banana, I will give you 2 broken bananas. Okay, they do that. But Suppose you go and give a 500 rupees note to a monkey and say that you give me that banana and I will give you 500 rupee note. Now believe it, if you give this note to a shopkeeper, he will give you not one banana but maybe 25 banana. Right? Anyway, he can get 20 bananas for 500 rupees. Now, will the monkey take this 500 rupee note from me and give me the banana? No. Because it cannot believe in this fiction that I have created. The monkey will say, yeah, I know that some people do it. Some bloody fools called human beings use this bloody piece of paper in exchange for bananas, but I don't do that. I will not, I will eat this banana and that is enough for me. Keep your 500 or 10,000 rupee note. Money is the most successful story ever invented and told by humans, because it is the only story that everybody believes. Whether you are a Christian or a Muslim or a Hindu or a Sikh or whatever, whether if you are a theist or a theist, if you believe in gods or if you believe in nation state, if you are from Europe or from India, everybody believes in this story called money. There may be people who may not believe in human rights. There may be people who may not believe in patriotism. But money is something that all of us believe in. It is the greatest story that has sold. You know, it has sold many millions of copies. The best seller ever is money. The greatest bestseller man has created, the greatest story that man has created is money. Everybody believes in it, and we live by it and we die by it. Let us be honest about it. Everybody,
Yes.
yes, I am winding up. So to conclude, we humans are able to control the whole of the world because we live in a dual reality. What is the dual reality? There is an objective reality that animals also believe in, and animals also explain and also communicate. But we have another reality, not the reality consisting of rivers and mountains and bananas and coconuts, but the reality consisting of money, 100 rupee notes, and states and religion. That is a fictional reality that we can create new realities also. We can recreate, we can destroy and then create. Realities can be created over the centuries. We have constructed on top of the objective reality, we have created a second layer of fictional reality, a reality made of fictional entities like gods, like money, like multinational corporations, like Pepsi, like 100 rupee note, like anything. And what is amazing, even more amazing, is as history unfolded, this fictional reality became more and more powerful, so much so that today the most powerful forces in the world are the fictional entities, and it is the fictional entities that control the objective entities. The real things are controlled by the fictional things. In other words, the very survival of our rivers and mountains and our chimpanzees and our lions and our elephants depends, their survival depends on the decisions and wishes of fictional entities like the World Bank, like the United Nations, like the United States, like Google, like Microsoft, like these things. Entities that exist only in our imagination. And that is the beauty of communication, and that is why we have theories for communication. Thank you. I completed my lecture. I have completed all my points. Whatever I wanted to say, I have said. Now, I am very sad to see that we have only 14 people, but still, it's fine.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. Any questions? Any, you know,